Hi everyone, and thank you for watching or listening to our summer podcast Inside Knowledge. I'm your host, Thea. Today we welcome the second guest on our series, Paula Leach. Paula is a leading leadership coach and a business consultant and the author of Vantage Points, How to Create a Culture Where Employees Thrive. Today we will be discussing the leadership of Boris Johnson as a Prime Minister of the UK and what qualities the person who is going to take his position should possess. Thank you very much, Paul, for joining us today for our Lit Summer Series podcast. I'm very excited to speak with you today. So firstly, on the first episodes with you, I would like to speak about the UK Parliament and the UK Prime Minister. So Boris Johnson recently announced that he's resigning, and currently we are waiting for a new Conservative Party leader to be elected and take Boris Johnson's post as a Prime Minister of the UK. So how would you comment on the leadership of Boris Johnson, and why do you think it came to a point where he had to resign?
Well, I think no one's bigger. So I think one of the key lessons in this is no one person, however charismatic, is actually bigger than the work that you're collectively doing together. So, and I think if those two things get out of balance, um, people who are aiming to work with you, people who are following you, all of that can start to get confused in terms of, what are they following? Are they following the person? Are they following the work? And I think that sort of comes back to one of the key tenets of anyone leading anything is just the clarity of what are we leading? What is our shared endeavour? And how can I simplify that so that we're all really clear what the key priorities are and what we're going to do about them together so we can all corral around the work. So I think that's the first thing that, charisma doesn't really beat, the content of what you're leading over time. Charisma also doesn't beat trust. So the foundations of all leadership is that it's a reciprocal arrangement. So I provide a leadership vision, we work together to get there. You provide your engagement with that and we collaborate together. It's a reciprocity. And that's based on trust. And if the trust is lost, it's really, really difficult then for the person to lead with authority and for people to actually follow and be colleagues with and work with integrity. And I think those are the things that got broken over time through a series of activities. I'm sure it was not one particular thing, it was one thing that happened at the end. But all of those things, it's about that clarity and it's absolutely about trust.
Absolutely. And then what type of leadership do you think that we now need in the UK? What qualities does the perfect next Prime Minister possess?
Yeah, so I mean, is there a perfect next Prime Minister? Probably not, because anybody who takes that post is going to be human. So that probably is the first thing to say, is that it's not all going to be contained in one person. So I think one of the most important things is that whoever is Prime Minister takes a collaborative approach. It's absolutely about building the team and is absolutely about dealing with the issues. We've got some really, really big problems now and in front of us. And so whoever takes that post as a leader needs to understand their strengths, understand where they need collaboration and to build that really, really quickly. And then to focus on exactly what we're going to tackle first and where we're going to take those steps so that that communication is clear for everybody, so that everybody is able to take those steps together. So that building of that collaboration and building of the clarity of what we're working on, those two things, it's not about a personality, it's about getting the work done and getting the work done together. So I think someone who's able to come in and focus on those things and dial down, their own personal agenda or whatever their personal sort of inspiration message is. It's about inspiring collaboration together rather than follow me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you on that. And then finally, because these series are aimed at helping business leaders and giving them useful insights at the end of this summer. So, what can business leaders learn from Boris Johnson's mistakes?
Well, leadership is leadership, I think, wherever we are. And political leadership has its particular nuances. Business leadership has its particular um, context. But overall, what are we actually trying to do? And I think in any situation, a leader only is there to help us all be organised to move from A to B. It's a sort of both a coordination and an inspiration role. It's about the coordination, creating the really clear direction so that people are able to make decisions because the clarity is there and we share it. And then the second thing is building that team. So making sure that we're able to inspire a sense of we're headed over there and we're going there together, as opposed to lots of questioning of where we're going, because you get stuck at that point. You don't actually start to move if you're always questioning where we're going. And also, if people don't feel something, that they're moving towards something, things are going to get better, they're contributing, they are involved, that also means we're not getting the best out of everybody. So I think that absolute clarity, as I've talked about, and then building the team, they're the two fundamental tenets, I think, of all leadership. And whenever things get difficult, something happens, whatever, I think there's always those touchstones to come back to as a leader. When things get overwhelming, which they do, or the detail takes over or a crisis happens, what are the two touchstones? And that's really the job of the leader. So those are the sorts of things that I think we've seen are really, really important.
Mm, absolutely. And thank you very much for sharing those tips. I think they would be useful for any leader watching or listening to this series. So thank you very much, Paula.
Thank you.